Hello everybody and welcome to the community call. These, as you know, are our way of sharing what is coming in the near term on our product roadmap and gives you a bit longer horizon view of what we're working on in product enhancements and product capabilities. Today I want to talk about what's coming in early February and the focus there, and give you a little bit of context of where we've been and where we're going on the product roadmap. So over the fourth quarter of 2016, we were very focused on two really big things. They were, we thought, strategic and important, and in particular powerful for leaders and people who are managing cross-functionally. And one of those was the iPad release, and the other was the running business review. And those were big deal releases for us. A lot of work involved in conversations with many of you about what should be in both of them. We have, over that fourth quarter, we put a lot of energy and effort into those two things. And while we put a lot of energy there, we didn't put as much energy in other places that were really important to you and really important to us. And those are things that make the experience of the existing features delightful, fast, and make the details and the nuances subtle and elegant experiences. And we need to put more energy and more effort on that delight and details. So the next two iterations, and some of the work we've already done a bit in January, are really focused on that. Not big new features. There's not another running business review coming this quarter. It's a lot of work around the details and the experience of the capabilities we already have. Now, that means a lot of the enhancements and the things that you've asked for. This shouldn't be here, and this is hard to use, and why'd you do this? Those things are all part of what we think of in delight. Not a lot of new capabilities, making the capabilities we have great to use. So that means two waves for us, Delight 1 and Delight 2. Delight 1 is coming for Valentine's Day. We hope you love it. And we hope that a lot of it you don't even notice, because it's just an improvement on those things that you use now or that you would expect to be there are there. So speed is something we're iterating on actually every 48 hours right now. There's lots to do, and we have a squad that's working solely on optimizing and improving speed. I know that's the #1 pain point for a lot of you, particularly those of you who go through single sign-on and a lot of corporate infrastructure around InfoSec stuff. That adds to the burden and to the speed issues, and we're doing a lot, and we will continue to until it's lightning fast, change and improve the speed that you experience things. The next thing is simplifying a bunch of stuff. So we've simplified the main menu and navigation. I'll show you what that looks like. We've put things, nested them and settled them farther down, so the things you use a lot are at the top, and the things you use less frequently are not cluttering the surface. That's work we'll continue to do, but we've made a couple moves forward here. We've remodeled teamwork. I'll show you what that looks like. A lot of you actually like the business review, which is awesome, and then you want to share it, and you want to put your own narrative on that, so you'll be able to publish your business review with a narrative on top of it via Slack or via email. And then the goal editor is undergoing a major facelift to simplify, and we want more nuance, more complexity in metrics, and a lot less nuance and complexity in the experience, so we're doing work there. And then we have an iPad iteration that is has a lot of the same kinds of enhancements and consistency and experience that is will also drop in the same time frame. And then there is a laundry list of subtle things, nice details that many of you would recognize as on your ask list. We botched sub-actions, so we need to fix how we handled that. Again, coming back to speed. Get meetings that are littering your list, dismiss them, get them out of the way, make it easier to put things on your business review, and a whole host of things that are details that will roll into this particular release. The big things I wanted to just share and give you some visibility on are the menu and navigation. So a couple things changing. We're reducing the number of menu items on the left nav. So the organization and reports buttons have gone away. Organization moves up by your profile, and it's just a quick list of your direct reports. Reports, which are weekly snapshots of activity, the reports are actually now tucked under teamwork because they're, of course, a snapshot of the team's activity in a given week. The other thing to note on the left nav is on the My Work page, there's a slightly different view of how My Work appears. And so the things that are really your work are in one bucket. The co-working, so what you've delegated and the things you're on the loop on, are in another bucket. And then the last piece, the status reports you share with other people, are under the My Work menu as well, because of course they reflect your work in the week. We've added a couple places, some what I'll think of as better cues and clues. So lots of new users, and not you pro users who come to the community calls, but your colleagues, lots of them miss the fact that they've filtered their list. And so they think, my data disappeared. And probably the single most frequent help chat or ticket we get is, I put it in and it's gone. And in truth, their list has been filtered to not show done items, or it's been filtered to a date range and this is outside of that date range, and so on. So we'll make the filters a little more obvious, reduce people's anxiety. If you have 5 filters, you'll be able to see that you do. You get a visual cue, and then what you're filtering on will be, you'll just roll over and be able to see it. So 0 clicks to find out, what am I actually looking at? And hopefully people's anxiety level will go down that their data has disappeared. The other thing frustrating for a bunch of you in big work streams where a lot of people are collaborating and you're trying to add, or your teams are growing really quickly, you add people to a work stream, you want to assign an action, and it goes to them privately, but you don't realize that it's gone privately and it's no longer visible in the work stream. So we'll do a stronger alert that makes it clear, won't show, and give you a little more opportunity to both assign it to somebody who's not on the workstream and make sure that they are included and it doesn't get lost in the private zone. It stays visible to other people. On teamwork, which is where a lot of the menu restructuring is happening, the teamwork is, I think most of you have thus far used it predominantly to go to a specific work stream. And what we're doing now is making it easier to manage multiple work streams and see across those in more elegant ways and more seamless ways. So the first piece is the team summary dashboard that you have now will get remodeled to be more dashboard-like and hopefully more useful, a more efficient way for somebody managing multiple work streams to see the status across those and to manage status across those. So the current team summary dashboard will look as you see here on this list. The work streams, their status, their pace, and their progress will all be a little bit easier to see and neater representation. You'll be able to publish a report with a narrative from there, which is a summary of work across all of those work streams. And if you don't want to be on that team anymore, you'll be able to exit from there. The team administrator can manage permissions for work streams in the team, which is something we just activated. And then under teamwork is where you'll now be able to create a new working group, right? So if you want to team up with others and there's not an existing functional team, you'll be able to just create that on the fly from under the teamwork menu rather than the organization menu as it is now. The other thing that I think a lot of you are heavy workstream users and have a lot of teams will appreciate is you will be able to, in a single click, open and close all the nav trays. So collapse and expand all the team contents on that left navigation pane, which is really handy when you want to drag things around and order them in your own way. The elements underneath teamwork now will include the summary view of all of the work streams, a view across all of the action items in all of those work streams, the objectives that align to the work streams for the team, the weekly snapshot, so what was done late, new red flags in a given week, and then the team roster, so who's on the team will, and their names and et cetera will also be all visible under the teamwork and team summary menu. The action item view, for if you look at all of the action items across the work streams, we'll get a new surface and a new dashboard at the top, and that dashboard at the top will function as a filter. So you'll see the percentage of items at risk, and if you click on that, it'll filter down to just the items at risk. You'll see the percentage of items that are high priority, late, in progress, and done, and same thing, clicking each of those buttons will filter that list so that you can quickly cut across work streams and see, for example, what's late or what's been accomplished. Weekly snapshots is something that a few of you use religiously, and some of you didn't even know existed. So, and it turns out it was a feature we first introduced in 2014, so it's been around a long time. The snapshots were hidden under reports. Now the weekly snapshot for the team's accomplishments will be surfaced under the teamwork menu. And what you'll see there is two things: the velocity of work in that team for the week period, and what portion of that is at risk and what portion of it is in the green. And below that, the stats for each work stream. So in the week, for each work stream, how many items had the date moved back? And for a given work stream, how many new red flags in that week? So the ability to sort of see incremental weekly progress, and if you're managing that, right, to find out what goalposts have been moved, what dates have been set back, is an easier way to do it. And it's all under that teamwork menu now. So hopefully that's less clicking and navigating to see how the team is doing. On business reviews, or the RBR, running business review, you'll be able to not only curate what's on your running business review, which you can do now, and it's dynamic, right? So you can add and subtract things every minute if you wanted to. And then what's coming is you'll be able to publish that running business review the same way you can publish your OKRs or your goals now. And that's publish it, add a narrative to the top of it describing how something is going or the progress of the business, and then either via email or Slack, send your business review to somebody else. So you can decide what you want to include, the comments, what kinds of risks you want to include, just KPI risks or delivery risks, and then choose who you want to send it to with your own narrative. And it goes out via email, pretty handy summary, and of course you can curate it and do it anytime. So you want to send it on Tuesday, send it on Tuesday. You want to show something off on Wednesday, show something off on Wednesday. This is an easy way, of course, to show it off to people who are not in Workboard with you. The next piece I want to turn to is the goal editor, and this is an area where we have a lot of work to do, and it's there's a lot of complexity under the hood on how metrics work. There needs to be more structure there, and the experience. You have to be able to tap into that complexity and that nuance in an easier way. And so we are racing to make this much easier for you before the Q2 goal reset that all of you are going to do. So a couple things change here. The editor itself is shifting. So it's cleaner, it's neater, it's more compact. Information appears and questions or options appear only when you need them to and not before that. And then move this out of the way here. And then the choices you make about, for example, who you want to share this with, you can apply it to all of the downline objectives and metrics, which means you have to select fewer things as you do the setup and so on. Now as you create the objective in the first place, you'll at the start say what it aligns up to and tie it together. And then as you move through the editor, the goal you created, in this case the goal created is a differentiated SaaS-led portfolio that delights our customers. That's the objective. The objective will stay visible through each step of the editor, which is, I know, incredibly important to all of you and me too, who really want that one to be better. the way you pick and select the kind of key result or metric you want to use will get easier, a little more elegant, less steps. You can see that there are more options, so source from Jira, source from Asana. And then as you set those metrics, just a cleaner, simpler screen. Less noise on it, less content on it. Your goal is always visible. And then as you create the key results, as they are on the, when you look at the finished goals in the goal details view, they'll be down the left. So instead of the thumbnails across the top that you can't really read, they'll be the down the left. Your KRs or metrics will be down the left side, and you can continue to add key results as you go. Click through them just as you do when you've published your goals and shared them with others. And of course, the very last step will still be identifying dependencies or connecting to any work streams that might be relevant. What we've really tried to do in this sequence is take out a lot of the noise on each of the pages and make the interactions, which may be a little hard to see from the screenshots, but make the interactions easier. So distinguish saving a result from saving a goal, and adding an additional result from saving the entire goal itself. So hopefully that feels much smoother and much friendlier to you, easier to do, and all of that means faster to do and faster to take advantage of the nuances of what you might measure in your Q2 objectives and key results. So we're doing that work around experience. So it maybe includes things like where you close a pop-up will be in the same place every time as opposed to a different place in pop-up 1 from pop-up 2. Lots of that work is in this Valentine's Day release, Delight 1. And then Delight Wave 2, right after that, has, I'll call it kind of the rest of the job. It's continuing those refinements and details and smoothing the edges on a lot of the app. It's continuing to do performance work. You're going to see your own picture less often because every time we load a page with 50 pictures on it, it's slower than loading a page without pictures on it. We're going to do a bunch of work there to just dial in the speed up more efficiently. And then you'll get more reporting options. A lot of you are taking advantage of that publish capability and the publish with narrative. So we'll add things like publish an OKR report by a category, or mix and match what you're publishing. I want to publish both goals and some work stream details. And then narrative-only publishing, right? So we'll do a lot more work around those options to share your progress with people in different ways. More bots and conversations, so of course sharing progress and making progress in and out of Workboard. We'll do some work around global or common metrics, so reusable metrics. Define how you're going to measure something once and then reuse that many times. So less creation work and more consistency, more commonality, which means yet even more we can measure and take advantage of as intelligence about your organization's velocity. And then we are doing an iPhone and an Android refresh, which is just bringing them forward following this next iteration on the iPad. We'll shift back to the other two mobile platforms. iPhone, iPad, Android, and web is a lot of platforms to be working across, and we have some sequencing around how we do that. Android hasn't gotten the attention it deserves over the past year, so we have I'm excited that we're going to move that forward and improve some of the conveniences there. With that, I'm going to open up for questions, and I know there are some already. So let me just pop this open and take a look. You can ask questions using the little question or control panel you have. And let me see. Let me give you a sec if you want to post your questions, and I'm going to take a second to read them. So the always question, will the deck be shared? Yes, it will, and the recording of this webinar will be on the Resource Center, along with all the prior recordings if you want to post there. So you can find it, you can share it, and reference it. The slides will be there too, so feel free to avail yourself of those. Next question is, are the weekly snapshots only viewable by managers and co-managers? Or can all the staff view this? I think it will be opened up to all of the staff now that it's under teamwork. When it was under the organization or the reports view, it wasn't. Under teamwork, it makes sense for the whole team to be able to see that activity now, which I think is a big, cool thing. Next question, what's a goal category? That's an awesome question. We introduced goal categories maybe in November, and what that lets you do is, in addition to aligning one goal to another goal, it lets you create a grouping of a goal around, for example, a particular strategy pillar or a particular theme. And then you can put as you create a goal or an OKR, put it in more than one category. And then on the heat map, as an example, you can filter what shows up on the heat map page, and in the roster below the heat map, you can filter that by category. And that's pretty handy, particularly if you have a large organization and you've got, let's say, corporate pillars or corporate strategies, and then you've got, 5 or 8 or 9 layers of organizations, teams that are developing goals, and you want to see cut across a particular pillar. With one large IT organization where we created a category around machine learning and artificial intelligence, so you could quickly see all of the KRs and OKRs that were related to that particular technology area. The categories are created by the system administrator, so they're not, so you don't end up with 9 million categories. And so whoever is the sort of account administrator can create those categories, and then as you are developing an objective or a goal, you can optionally choose which categories, multiples, that you might want to put it in. Today you see you can manipulate your OKRs on the heat map by category. What we want to do is make it easy to publish those via email and Slack by category as well. Next question. What is the difference between a goal and an objective in WOBO? This is an awesome question. So I know in the universe there are lots of heated and passionate debates about an objective is this and a goal is that. What we find is, while there's lots of debate about that, every company has their own vocabulary, and in Workboard, a goal and an objective are the same thing. They are in a statement about what you want to achieve and why that matters, and then under the goal or objective is how you'll measure that. And if you're using the OKR methodology, how you measure it will be called a key result. If you're using a classic methodology, how you measure it will be called a metric. A goal and objective in Workboard are one and the same. A key result and a metric in Workboard are one and the same. Next question was, somebody missed it, when will the features be available? So Delight Wave 1, Valentine's Day. Wave 2, probably the first week of March. I think, let's see. So there's a question about sub-actions, which is a multi-part question, so I'm going to take that one offline. Thank you for asking it, and I don't mean to ignore you, but I want to make sure I understand the question right. So I'll cycle back on that one. If there are no more questions, then I am going to just wrap up here and try and keep our train moving on time. If you have goals and you want to drive by goal this year and you haven't reset your Q1 or your first half 2017 goals, you might want to take a look at the OKR refresh session we did last week. There's a recording of it and the slides for it if you didn't attend it that are also on the Resource Center. You can give me a shout out and we'll send it to you. It covers how to do a retrospective on Q4, what you learn, what will you carry forward, what worked well, principles of OKRs and how to think about goals and sort of formulate your aspirations, and then the clicks, how to do it in, how to close, copy, reset your OKRs in Workboard itself. So if you didn't see that and would like to, give us a shout out and we'll send it your way. I'm a huge believer that the time spent to get clarity at the beginning of the quarter is an accelerator to success and the time lost to not having it can never be recovered. And it's not just the time, it's the energy and the heart and the effort and the goodwill of your teams. So if you don't got goals, get goals. They're an awesome tool to amplify your success. And the last thing I will do is, as always, thank you for letting the Workboard team and me be a contributor and a supporter of your success. We appreciate that opportunity very much, and let us know how we can be of best help. We're going to flash a quick survey here as we close the webinar. Your feedback on the call and on the roadmap will be great. I know lots of you send me emails, and I so appreciate that. We want to get more feedback, and so if you wouldn't mind, take a minute or two, probably a minute, and give us your quick feedback with a poll at the end of this call. And with that, I'll close it. Thank you. Have a great day.